Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Learn English with Podcast Conversation. I'm Jennifer, and today we'll discuss a skill that's essential for any learner, patience. Learning anything new, especially a language, takes time, and patience can make the journey smoother.
Hi, everyone. I'm Thomas. Patience is a key ingredient for success in learning. It helps you stay focused, motivated, and resilient through challenges. In this episode, we'll explore how you can develop patience and enjoy your learning journey to the fullest.
Patience is important because learning takes time. For example, when practicing English, progress might seem slow, but every small effort adds up. Focus on consistency instead of speed, and remember that mistakes are a natural part of the process.
One way to stay patient is to set realistic goals. Instead of expecting to master grammar in a week, aim to improve by learning one concept at a time. For example, focus on prepositions this week and practice them daily. Achievable goals keep frustration away.
Celebrate small wins along the way. Did you use a new phrase in conversation? That's progress. Tracking achievements, even small ones, shows you're improving, which can motivate you to keep going and build your patience over time.
Patience also helps you stay calm when you don't see immediate results. For example, if you're struggling with pronunciation, remind yourself that fluency develops gradually. Practicing daily is more effective than trying to perfect everything in one session.
Another tip is to enjoy the learning process. Watch movies, listen to music, or read in English. When learning feels fun, you'll be less worried about how long it takes and more focused on enjoying the journey.
Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at their own pace. Instead of thinking, "They're ahead of me," focus on your own progress. Ask yourself, "What did I learn today?" Comparing less and appreciating more can boost your patience.
Mindfulness can help you stay patient. If you feel frustrated, take a moment to breathe deeply and refocus. Ask yourself, what's one step I can take right now to move forward? Staying present helps you tackle challenges without feeling overwhelmed.
Break big tasks into smaller, manageable parts. For example, if you're learning vocabulary, focus on 5 words per day instead of 50. Smaller steps make the process easier and prevent burnout, helping you remain patient and consistent.
Remember to take breaks. Continuous study can exhaust your mind. A short walk or listening to music can recharge your energy. Returning with a fresh mind allows you to learn better and stay patient with yourself.
Another strategy is to keep a learning journal. Write down what you studied, what you found challenging, and what you enjoyed. Reviewing your progress weekly shows how far you've come, reminding you that patience pays off.
Surround yourself with supportive people, join study groups, or online communities where learners share experiences. Hearing others' stories can inspire you to stay patient and remind you that everyone faces challenges in learning.
Focus on the bigger picture. Remind yourself why you're learning English may be for better career opportunities or travel. Keeping your goal in mind makes the hard moments feel worthwhile and strengthens your patience.
Setbacks are common in learning. Instead of feeling discouraged, view them as learning opportunities. For example, if you didn't understand a grammar rule, think, "What can I do differently next time?" This mindset fosters growth and patience.
Learn to laugh at your mistakes. If you mispronounce a word or use the wrong tense, don't stress. Mistakes mean you're trying, and that's progress. Embracing errors as part of learning makes you more patient and confident over time.
Ask for feedback from teachers or friends. Constructive feedback helps you see areas for improvement. For example, if your teacher suggests practicing sentence structure, take it as guidance rather than criticism. Positive feedback builds patience and trust in the process.
When you feel stuck, try a new approach. If reading is difficult, switch to audio lessons or videos. Changing methods can refresh your motivation and make learning enjoyable again, helping you stay patient with your progress.
Track how far you've come since you started. For example, compare how you spoke English a month ago to now. Progress, no matter how small, reminds you that learning is happening and patience is part of reaching your goals.
Reward yourself for consistent effort. Set milestones like completing a course or reading a book and celebrate when you reach them. For example, treat yourself to your favorite snack or a movie night. Rewards keep you motivated and patient with the process.
Consistency is one of the best ways to develop patience in learning. Think of it like planting a tree. You water it daily, and while you may not see instant growth, the tree eventually flourishes. Similarly, practicing a little English every day builds strong habits and long-term results.
Absolutely, Jennifer. Daily effort adds up over time. Even 15 minutes of reading, writing, or speaking each day can make a big difference. The key is not to miss a day. If you stay consistent, you'll notice gradual improvements that reinforce your patience and keep you motivated.
Another way to maintain consistency is to create a schedule. For example, dedicate specific times each day to study English. Whether it's early morning or before bed, having a routine keeps you on track and prevents feelings of frustration or impatience.
I agree. A consistent schedule helps your brain adjust to learning as a habit. For example, if you always listen to an English podcast during your morning commute, your mind will start associating that time with learning, making it easier to stay committed.
Consistency also builds confidence. When you consistently practice a skill, you begin to trust yourself. For instance, if you practice speaking English daily even for a few minutes, you'll gradually feel more comfortable in real conversations.
And let's not forget accountability. Sharing your goals with a friend or teacher can help you stay consistent. For example, tell a friend you'll learn 5 new words each week and check in with them to share your progress. This keeps you motivated and builds patience.
Rewards can also reinforce consistency. Set small rewards for achieving your goals. For instance, if you complete a week of daily English practice, treat yourself to something enjoyable. Rewards create positive associations with learning and encourage patience.
That's a great point. It's also important to forgive yourself if you miss a day. Life happens, and skipping one session isn't the end of the world. What matters is getting back on track the next day without losing your momentum or patience with yourself.
Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It's about showing up regularly, even when you don't feel like it. Some days might feel harder than others, but every small effort contributes to your overall growth and teaches you the value of patience in the process.
Breaking your learning into smaller tasks helps too. For example, instead of trying to master grammar in one sitting, focus on one rule per day. Small, manageable steps make the process less overwhelming and help you stay patient and consistent.
One of my favorite tips is to track your progress visually. Use a calendar or an app to mark every day you practice English. Seeing a streak of successful days can be incredibly motivating and reminds you how consistency pays off.
I like that idea, Jennifer. Another helpful approach is mixing up your activities. For instance, alternate between reading, listening, and speaking exercises. This keeps learning fresh and enjoyable while maintaining the consistency needed to develop patience. It's also helpful to focus on quality over quantity. Spending 20 focused minutes on learning is better than an hour of distracted practice. When you concentrate on meaningful learning, you see better results, which reinforces your patience and commitment.
Consistency can even be about mindset. Remind yourself daily why learning English is important to you. Whether it's for career growth, travel, or personal development, keeping your goals in mind helps you stay focused and patient during your learning journey.
Another tip is to find joy in the process. Instead of thinking, I have to study, shift your mindset to, I get to learn something new today. Viewing learning as a privilege rather than a chore makes you more likely to stay consistent and patient.
Consistency also builds resilience. The more regularly you practice, the easier it becomes to handle challenges. For instance, if you face a difficult grammar rule, you'll approach it calmly because you trust your consistent efforts to eventually master it.
Patience grows when you measure progress over time, not day by day. Look back at where you started a month ago. Have you learned new words, improved your pronunciation, or gained confidence? These small achievements reflect the power of consistent effort.
Lastly, surround yourself with positivity. Engage with encouraging friends, teachers, or online communities. Positive reinforcement reminds you that every small step counts, helping you stay consistent and patient with your learning process.
And always remember, patience is part of the journey. Each word you learn, each mistake you correct, and each conversation you practice is a step toward fluency. Trust the process, stay consistent, and believe in your ability to succeed.
Patience often gets tested when we face challenges. For instance, you might struggle with understanding grammar rules or remembering new vocabulary. Instead of getting frustrated, remind yourself that challenges are natural and part of growth. Embrace them as opportunities to improve.
Exactly, Jennifer. Challenges are like stepping stones. Think of them as exercises for your patience. For example, when you can't grasp a pronunciation pattern, break it into smaller parts. Practice repeatedly, and over time, it will feel natural. Each small win builds resilience.
When challenges seem overwhelming, focus on what you can control. For example, if listening to fast English speakers feels impossible, start with slower recordings or subtitles. Adjusting the difficulty helps you stay motivated and prevents frustration from taking over.
That's a great tip. It's also important to celebrate small victories. If you understand part of a conversation or use a new word correctly, acknowledge it. These moments might seem minor, but they're signs of progress. Recognizing them keeps you patient and motivated.
Another challenge learners face is comparison. Seeing others speak fluently can make you impatient. Instead, focus on your own journey. Everyone learns at a different pace. Comparing yourself to others can discourage you, but focusing on your progress builds confidence.
Absolutely. Another way to manage challenges is to reframe them. If a task feels hard, think of it as a puzzle to solve rather than a problem. For example, if you struggle with tenses, treat them as a fun mental game. Shifting your mindset can make tough tasks more enjoyable.
When you feel stuck, remember that asking for help is okay. Whether it's a teacher, a friend, or an online forum, others can offer guidance. Sometimes, explaining your challenge aloud even helps you see it differently, making it easier to overcome and develop patience.
That's true. Surrounding yourself with supportive people makes a big difference. Join English speaking groups where others encourage your progress. Hearing their stories of overcoming challenges can inspire you and remind you that patience pays off.
Taking breaks is another helpful strategy. When frustration builds, stepping away allows your mind to reset. For instance, if grammar feels confusing, take a walk or do something relaxing. Returning with a fresh perspective often makes challenges feel smaller.
Breaks are essential, Jennifer. They prevent burnout and help you approach learning with renewed energy. Also, use downtime wisely. For example, listen to English music or podcasts while relaxing. It's a way to keep learning without feeling overwhelmed.
Visualization can also help. Imagine yourself speaking fluently or writing confidently. Visualizing your success creates a positive mindset that keeps you motivated during challenges. It's a reminder that patience and persistence lead to tangible results.
Great point. Writing down your goals can also keep you focused. For instance, list what you want to achieve, like mastering 10 new words a week. Seeing your goals on paper makes them more real and gives you something to look forward to as you practice patience.
Sometimes, stepping back to reflect on your progress can ease challenges. Look at where you started and where you are now. Even if the change feels small, it's proof of your hard work. Reflection strengthens your belief in the process and your ability to improve.
Yes, Jennifer, reflection can be powerful. Also, don't let perfectionism get in your way. Mistakes are part of learning and they teach you valuable lessons. When you accept that errors are normal, it becomes easier to handle challenges with patience and positivity.
Engaging with interactive tools can also make challenges feel less daunting. Apps, games, and quizzes turn learning into an enjoyable experience. For example, a vocabulary game can help you master new words while keeping your interest alive, even when patience is tested.
I agree. Technology can be a great ally. Use speech recognition tools to practice pronunciation or apps for grammar exercises. These resources give instant feedback, helping you see progress faster and encouraging you to stay patient during tougher moments.
Another tip is to change your environment. If studying at your desk feels frustrating, try a park or a cafe. A fresh setting can make learning feel new and exciting, reducing stress and helping you approach challenges with a calmer, more patient mindset.
That's an excellent idea. Music can also set the tone for learning. Play calming tunes in the background while studying to keep your mind relaxed. A peaceful atmosphere makes it easier to focus, handle challenges, and maintain the patience needed to succeed.
Lastly, remind yourself that challenges are temporary. Every time you overcome one, you become stronger and more prepared for the next. Learning is a journey, and patience ensures you'll enjoy the process while reaching your ultimate goal of fluency.
Well said, Jennifer. Remember, patience is a skill you build through practice. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to grow and improve. Stay committed, keep a positive mindset, and trust that your efforts will pay off in time.
When it comes to developing patience, having a long-term vision is key. Imagine your end goal fluently conversing, writing with ease, or understanding complex texts. Keeping that image in your mind helps you stay motivated even when progress feels slow or challenges arise.
That's a great point, Jennifer. Long-term goals act like a compass, but short-term milestones keep you on track. For example, if your vision is fluency, start with mastering basic conversations. Break your goal into smaller, measurable steps so the journey feels manageable and rewarding.
I completely agree. Another way to develop patience is by focusing on effort over outcome. Instead of worrying about how fluent you sound now, celebrate the time and energy you're putting in. Consistent effort will bring results, even if they aren't immediately visible.
That's true. Think about the process as building a strong foundation. Just like constructing a house, the base takes time but ensures long-term stability. In language learning, mastering the basics creates a solid platform for advanced skills, so it's worth being patient.
Absolutely, Thomas. Patience also grows when you connect learning to your passions. For example, if you love cooking, try learning English recipes. When the content interests you, staying patient becomes easier because the process feels enjoyable, not like a chore.
That's a great strategy. Personalizing your learning keeps motivation high. If you're a fan of sports, follow English commentary. If you enjoy movies, watch with subtitles. Tailoring your learning to your interests transforms challenges into exciting opportunities.
Engaging in activities outside traditional study methods can also build patience. Join online communities, participate in group discussions, or play English language games. These activities make learning interactive and help you develop patience while having fun.
Right, Jennifer. Community support can make a big difference. Hearing about others' experiences and challenges reminds you that everyone has ups and downs. Sharing your journey with others keeps you motivated and fosters a sense of patience through mutual encouragement.
Mindfulness can also play a role in cultivating patience. Practicing deep breathing or meditation before a study session can calm your mind. A relaxed mindset improves focus, allowing you to approach your learning with more patience and clarity.
Mindfulness is powerful. You can also apply it during your study time by paying close attention to what you're learning. Instead of rushing through a text or exercise, take time to absorb the details. Slowing down actually accelerates your overall progress.
Journaling is another tool to build patience. Write about your learning experiences, including both successes and struggles. Over time, you'll see how far you've come. Reflecting on this journey reinforces the idea that patience pays off in meaningful ways.
That's a fantastic idea. A journal helps track progress and also identifies patterns in your learning habits. For example, if you notice consistent improvement after group practice, you can focus more on that. Journaling turns small insights into actionable strategies.
Another way to cultivate patience is by embracing imperfection. Mistakes are valuable teachers. Instead of getting frustrated, treat errors as learning moments. Each mistake brings you closer to fluency because it shows you what needs more practice or attention.
That's a crucial lesson. Patience also grows when you give yourself permission to rest. Overworking can lead to burnout, making you more impatient. Scheduling regular breaks and treating them as part of your routine helps sustain your motivation and energy.
Right, rest is essential. And during those breaks, why not explore English in a relaxed way? Listen to music, watch a light show, or read a simple article. Keeping your mind engaged but stress-free ensures you return to focused study sessions with renewed patience.
That's a great balance. I'd also recommend creating a vision board. Fill it with images, quotes, or achievements that remind you why you're learning English. This visual reminder keeps your long-term goal alive and encourages you to stay patient through every step.
Another tip is to focus on quality over quantity. It's tempting to rush through a lot of material, but deep understanding comes from engaging with fewer topics more thoroughly. Patience allows you to truly absorb and apply what you've learned in meaningful ways.
Very true. Quality practice ensures that what you learn sticks. A great technique is spaced repetition. Revisit lessons or vocabulary after specific intervals. This strategy reinforces your memory and helps you stay patient by showing consistent improvement over time.
Finally, remind yourself daily that learning is a lifelong journey. There's no rush to reach fluency overnight. Instead, enjoy the process. Patience grows when you take pride in every effort you make, knowing that each step brings you closer to your goal.
Well said, Jennifer. Every step, no matter how small, is progress. Patience is about trusting the process and believing in your ability to achieve your goals. Stay persistent, stay positive, and remember that your hard work will always pay off in the end.
To develop patience in learning English, we must first understand that language learning isn't a race. It's about steady progress and continuous improvement. Breakthroughs come gradually. Learning English is about building muscle memory, and just like physical fitness, consistency is key. Stay focused on progress, not perfection.
Exactly, Jennifer. The process can feel overwhelming at times, but one thing I always tell myself is that the journey itself is valuable. As learners, it's essential to recognize that growth often happens in small increments. Even on days when progress feels slow, every effort counts and gets you closer to your goals.
That's a great mindset, Thomas. One way to stay patient is by setting realistic, attainable goals. Instead of aiming for fluency overnight, focus on mastering smaller, achievable milestones like introducing yourself, holding a basic conversation, or understanding a short story. It keeps your goals clear and manageable.
True. Jennifer, breaking your goals into smaller chunks creates a sense of accomplishment along the way. A common mistake is trying to do everything at once, learning vocabulary, grammar, speaking, and listening. When you focus on one skill at a time, it becomes more manageable and you can celebrate small victories.
Right, Thomas. Another technique that helps build patience is adopting a growth mindset. This means viewing every challenge or mistake as an opportunity to learn, rather than something to be frustrated by. With each difficulty, you are gaining valuable insights into how you learn best.
Exactly. A growth mindset allows you to embrace mistakes as part of the learning process, not as setbacks. Each error brings you closer to your goal because it shows you what to focus on. So, instead of becoming discouraged, use mistakes to adjust your methods and improve.
That's a fantastic point, Thomas. Another way to build patience is to understand that learning takes time. Language learning is like planting a tree. You don't see the fruit immediately, but with consistent effort, you'll eventually start seeing results. Trust that every effort is planting seeds for future success.
Well said, Jennifer. I think we often forget that growth takes time and patience. We see others who seem to learn faster and get discouraged. But it's important to remember that everyone learns at their own pace. The key is consistency and staying committed to the journey, no matter how long it may take.
Absolutely. Patience can also be developed by changing how you measure success. Instead of only measuring success by fluency, measure it by how much you've learned in the past month or how many new words you've acquired. Success is the sum of small efforts over time, not one big achievement.
That's a great approach, Jennifer. Measuring progress in small ways allows you to feel accomplished every step of the way. It encourages you to keep going even on days when fluency feels out of reach. Focus on your progress, not where you should be, and remember that each day is a step forward.
Another great tip is to embrace variety in your learning. Instead of following a rigid routine, mix things up. Watch English movies, read books, practice speaking with friends, or listen to podcasts like this one. Variety not only keeps the learning process exciting, but it also keeps your patience strong.
Variety is a great way to keep things fresh and engaging, Jennifer. It prevents burnout and keeps you from feeling stuck. Also, trying different methods can help you discover what works best for you. Whether you prefer visual aids, listening practice, or speaking exercises, being flexible with your approach fosters patience and keeps things interesting.
And on that note, Thomas, it's important to give yourself credit for the effort you're putting in, even on days when you feel like you're not moving forward. Language learning isn't linear, and there will be days where you feel like you're not progressing. But remember, those slow days still count, and they're part of the overall process.
Exactly, Jennifer. Sometimes it feels like we're not moving forward, but that's just part of the cycle. Growth isn't always visible right away, but consistency and dedication will pay off in the long run. Stay committed to the process, keep a positive attitude, and celebrate every small win, even the ones that seem minor.
Another method I use to build patience is by connecting language learning to something I enjoy. For example, I've always loved cooking, so I watch cooking shows in English. This not only helps me practice, but also keeps me excited and invested in the process, making it easier to stay patient.
That's a brilliant way to combine passion with learning. When you make learning English fun and relevant to your personal interests, it feels less like a task and more like an enjoyable activity. I've done something similar by following sports events in English, which makes learning more natural and less stressful.
Exactly, Thomas. And let's not forget about community support. Learning with others helps you stay patient. Whether it's through online forums, study groups, or language exchange programs, being part of a community allows you to share experiences, encourage each other, and remind yourself that you're not alone in this journey.
Support from others is invaluable. It helps to hear stories from fellow learners who are going through similar struggles. Being part of a community can also provide fresh perspectives, making you more open to new strategies and solutions. It makes the learning process feel like a shared experience, which can be very motivating.
Lastly, I encourage everyone to embrace the journey. Learning a language is not just about the end goal, but about the skills and experiences you gain along the way. Celebrate the milestones, however small they may seem, and recognize that patience is not just a skill but a part of the process itself.
I couldn't agree more. Jennifer, the journey is just as important as the destination. Each step you take, no matter how small, is part of your growth. So stay patient, stay persistent, and enjoy every moment of learning. You're getting closer to your goal every day.
Confidence and patience go hand in hand. To stay motivated in learning English, it's essential to celebrate small wins. Maybe you understood a sentence in a movie or held a short conversation in English. These achievements are proof that you're growing, even if fluency feels far away.
That's a solid point, Jennifer. Recognizing progress helps maintain a positive mindset. Small victories, like learning 10 new words or correctly pronouncing a challenging sentence, are stepping stones to bigger accomplishments. They remind you that success isn't an overnight achievement, but a series of small, meaningful steps.
Absolutely, Thomas. Another tip is to practice mindfulness while learning. Sometimes we get so focused on results that we forget to enjoy the process. Mindfulness means staying present and appreciating each learning moment, whether it's mastering a tricky phrase or simply enjoying an English song.
Mindfulness is a game changer, Jennifer. When we focus on the present, we shift from frustration to curiosity. For example, instead of being upset about struggling with grammar, we can ask, "What can I learn from this?" It keeps us grounded and patient, making the learning process more enjoyable.
Another strategy for staying patient is to create a balanced, steady routine. Overloading yourself with too much vocabulary or grammar in one sitting can lead to burnout. Instead, mix intense, steady sessions with lighter activities like watching English shows or reading a fun article. Balance makes learning sustainable.
I completely agree. Jennifer, balancing challenging tasks with enjoyable ones keeps learning interesting. For example, after a grammar lesson, you could reward yourself with a comedy series in English. This not only reinforces what you've learned, but also reminds you that learning can be fun and engaging.
That's such a good example, Thomas. And speaking of fun, let's talk about gamifying your learning. Apps and online tools often turn learning into games where you can earn points or badges. These can make practice sessions feel like play, helping you stay patient and motivated over time.
Gamification is a fantastic idea, Jennifer. I've seen learners who use apps like Duolingo or play word games in English. It's a creative way to practice regularly without it feeling like a chore. Plus, the small rewards within these games keep you engaged and excited about learning.
Another effective method is journaling in English. Writing about your daily experiences or feelings can help you practice sentence structure and vocabulary. It's also a great way to track your progress over time. Reading your earlier entries and seeing your growth is a powerful motivator.
Journaling is so underrated, Jennifer. I've found that writing helps solidify what you've learned and gives you a space to experiment without fear of mistakes. It's also deeply personal, so you can focus on what matters most to you. Over time, it becomes a collection of proof that you're improving.
You're absolutely right, Thomas. Another thing I recommend is learning through storytelling. Whether it's creating your own stories or listening to podcasts, storytelling adds context to the words and phrases you're learning. It makes the language come alive and sticks in your memory better.
That's a great technique, Jennifer. Stories create emotional connections, which make the language feel more relatable. Whether it's a personal anecdote or a fictional tale, stories help you remember vocabulary and grammar effortlessly. They also give you plenty of examples to use in real conversations.
On the topic of conversations, practicing with a partner is invaluable. It builds confidence, improves fluency, and teaches patience. A partner can correct your mistakes in real time or simply encourage you to keep speaking. Even practicing for 10 minutes a day can make a big difference.
Practicing with a partner is one of the best ways to improve, Jennifer. If you can't find someone in person, online communities and language exchange platforms are great alternatives. Speaking regularly builds a habit, and over time, you'll notice that your hesitations start to fade away.
Another thing I often recommend is learning through cultural immersion. Watch films, listen to music, or read about traditions in English-speaking countries. It gives you a deeper understanding of the language and its context. Plus, it's fascinating and keeps you engaged with the learning process.
Cultural immersion is such a rich way to learn, Jennifer. It shows you how language is used in everyday life, making it more practical and less abstract. Whether it's understanding idioms from a movie or learning slang from a song, these experiences bring language to life in meaningful ways.
And let's not forget the importance of self-compassion. Learning a language is hard work, and it's okay to feel frustrated sometimes. Instead of being critical of your mistakes, remind yourself that they're a natural part of the journey. Treat yourself with kindness, and you'll find patience much easier to practice.
That's so true, Jennifer. Being kind to yourself is crucial. Remember, you're dedicating time and energy to better yourself, and that's something to be proud of. Celebrate your efforts even when they don't lead to immediate results. Patience grows when we learn to appreciate the process.
Finally, I'd say that building a vision board or keeping a journal of your goals can be motivating. Seeing your dreams, like traveling to an English-speaking country or acing a job interview, keeps you focused and patient. Visualizing success reminds you why you started this journey in the first place.
That's a fantastic idea, Jennifer. A clear vision keeps your motivation strong. Whether it's a dream job, a new friend, or a memorable trip, these goals give your efforts meaning. They're a constant reminder that every small step brings you closer to the life you envision. Keep going, you're doing great.
Consistency is one of the most critical factors in mastering any skill, including learning English. It's not about how much you learn in one day, but about how often you practice. Even 15 to 30 minutes of daily learning can build a strong foundation over time. Progress is all about steady effort.
You're absolutely right, Jennifer. Consistency transforms small actions into significant results. For example, reading an English article every morning or practicing with a language app can seem minor, but it adds up. The key is making language learning a part of your daily routine, like brushing your teeth or drinking coffee.
That's a great analogy, Thomas. And consistency doesn't have to feel like a chore. You can make it enjoyable by combining it with activities you love, like watching English YouTube videos on topics you enjoy or journaling about your day in English. The more you enjoy it, the easier it becomes to stay consistent.
Exactly, Jennifer. When you tie English learning to activities you already love, it becomes less about studying and more about living the language. For example, if you love cooking, you could follow recipes in English. If you're into sports, watch commentary in English. It's a fun way to stay engaged.
And while consistency is key, flexibility is just as important. Life can be unpredictable, and you might miss a day or two of practice. Instead of feeling guilty, focus on getting back on track. Building patience means accepting setbacks and learning to move forward without losing momentum.
That's such a valuable reminder, Jennifer. A flexible approach helps you maintain a positive mindset. If one method of learning isn't working, switch it up. Maybe replace textbook exercises with conversational practice. Adapting to what works best for you keeps learning both effective and enjoyable.
Speaking of adapting, let's talk about breaking large goals into smaller, manageable ones. Instead of aiming for fluency immediately, set short-term goals like learning 5 new words a week or understanding one English song. These smaller goals make the journey feel less overwhelming and more achievable.
That's a brilliant strategy, Jennifer. Breaking goals into smaller steps gives you a clear path to follow. For example, instead of saying, "I want to speak fluent English," try, "I'll practice speaking for 10 minutes today." Each small success builds confidence and patience for the bigger picture.
Another way to stay patient is to track your progress. Keep a notebook or use a digital app to record what you've learned. Seeing how far you've come, whether it's mastering a tense or expanding your vocabulary, can be incredibly motivating. Progress, no matter how small, is worth celebrating.
Progress tracking is so motivating, Jennifer. It reminds you that every effort counts. For instance, if you've memorized 100 new words this month, that's a huge win. Tracking keeps you focused on growth instead of frustration. It's proof that your hard work is paying off even when progress feels slow.
On that note, let's highlight the importance of staying curious. Approach learning with a sense of wonder and discovery. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, view them as opportunities to learn something new. This mindset keeps you patient and excited about the journey ahead.
Curiosity is such a powerful tool, Jennifer. When you're genuinely curious, the process feels less like work and more like an adventure. For example, if you encounter a new idiom or phrase, think of it as unlocking a secret. This mindset not only helps with patience but also makes learning more rewarding.
And don't forget the value of a supportive community. Whether it's a study group, a language exchange partner, or an online forum, being part of a community provides encouragement. Sharing experiences and learning from others reminds you that you're not alone in this journey.
Communities are fantastic for staying motivated, Jennifer. Talking to others who share your goals can inspire you to keep going. Plus, teaching what you've learned to someone else is a great way to reinforce your knowledge. It's a win-win situation for both you and your learning partner.
That's true, Thomas. Lastly, let's not underestimate the role of self-compassion. Be patient with yourself and accept that learning takes time. Mistakes are a natural part of progress. Instead of criticizing yourself for them, use them as tools to improve. Kindness to yourself fosters long-term growth.
You're absolutely right, Jennifer. Learning patience begins with how you treat yourself. A positive mindset and a forgiving attitude are key to staying consistent and focused. Remember, every step you take brings you closer to your goals, no matter how small or slow it feels. Keep believing in your potential.
Confidence and patience go hand in hand. When you're learning something new, it's normal to feel uncertain. Building confidence starts with acknowledging your progress, no matter how small. Celebrate when you master a new phrase or successfully hold a short conversation in English.
That's a great point. Jennifer, confidence is built step by step. Focus on what you can do rather than worrying about what you can't. For instance, if you can introduce yourself in English, that's a fantastic start. Embrace small wins as they create a foundation for bigger achievements.
Another way to build confidence is to step out of your comfort zone. Try using English in real-life situations, even if it feels intimidating. Order food at a restaurant or ask for directions in English. Each time you challenge yourself, you'll become more comfortable and assured.
Absolutely, Jennifer. Real-life practice is invaluable. It's okay if you make mistakes, they're part of the process. Remember, most people appreciate your effort to communicate in their language. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel, and your patience will grow with your confidence.
Self-reflection also plays a big role in building confidence and patience. Take time to reflect on what you've learned and what you still want to improve. Write down your thoughts or talk to a friend about your experiences. Reflecting helps you see the bigger picture and stay motivated.
Reflection is such a powerful tool, Jennifer. It allows you to track progress and identify areas where you excel. For example, you might notice that your listening skills have improved significantly, even if your speaking still needs work. Recognizing this balance keeps you optimistic.
Let's also discuss the importance of setting realistic expectations. Learning takes time, and it's not fair to expect instant results. Set achievable goals that align with your current level. For instance, aim to learn 5 new words a week instead of trying to memorize an entire dictionary.
That's so true, Jennifer. Unrealistic goals can lead to frustration and burnout. Instead, focus on steady progress. Each small achievement adds up over time. If you aim to learn 5 words a week, that's 260 words in a year. Patience grows when you see how small efforts create big results.
Having a growth mindset is another essential factor. Understand that challenges are opportunities to grow rather than obstacles to fear. If you struggle with grammar or pronunciation, see it as a chance to refine your skills. This perspective keeps you patient and motivated.
A growth mindset makes all the difference, Jennifer. When you embrace challenges, you stop fearing failure and start seeing it as a stepping stone. For instance, if you mispronounce a word, treat it as a learning moment. Each mistake helps you improve and builds your resilience.
We also need to address the role of rewards in maintaining patience. Reward yourself for reaching milestones, big or small. Treat yourself to something you love, like a favorite snack or a relaxing evening after a week of consistent practice. Rewards keep you motivated and engaged.
Rewards are fantastic motivators, Jennifer. They give you something to look forward to and create a positive association with learning. For example, after completing a challenging lesson, reward yourself with an episode of your favorite English series. It's both fun and beneficial.
Let's not forget about the value of humor. Learning doesn't have to be serious all the time. Laugh at your mistakes and enjoy the process. Humor helps reduce stress and keeps you relaxed. A lighthearted approach makes learning feel less like a task and more like an adventure.
Humor is a great way to stay motivated, Jennifer. If you mispronounce something or mix up grammar rules, laugh it off. It's a sign that you're trying and growing. Plus, laughter releases tension and boosts your energy, making the learning process more enjoyable and sustainable.
Lastly, let's talk about the power of visualization. Picture yourself speaking English fluently and confidently. Imagine the doors it will open for you in your career or personal life. Visualization is a powerful tool to stay patient and focused on the bigger picture.
Visualization is indeed powerful, Jennifer. When you see yourself achieving your goals, it inspires you to keep going. Close your eyes and imagine having a seamless conversation in English. This mental practice helps reinforce your determination and reminds you why you're learning.
And don't forget to enjoy the journey. Learning is a lifelong process, and there's always something new to discover. Focus on the joy of exploring a new language and culture. Patience grows when you're excited about the process rather than just the end result.
That's a beautiful perspective, Jennifer. When you enjoy the journey, it no longer feels like a race to the finish line. Instead, it becomes an enriching experience. Celebrate the small moments, like understanding a joke in English or watching a movie without subtitles. These joys keep you moving forward.
Impatience is natural when you want results quickly, but it's important to shift focus from speed to consistency. Every language learner progresses at their own pace. Think of it like planting a garden. Seeds don't grow overnight, but with care, they flourish. Focus on nurturing your skills daily.
That's a great analogy, Jennifer. A garden needs water, sunlight, and time to thrive, just as language skills need practice, exposure, and patience. If you feel frustrated, remind yourself of how far you've come. Reflect on the first word you learned and how much more you know now.
Frustration often comes from comparing yourself to others. It's crucial to remember that everyone's journey is unique. Some might pick up vocabulary quickly, while others excel in grammar. Instead of comparisons, focus on what works best for you and celebrate your individual progress.
Exactly, Jennifer. Comparing yourself to others can drain your motivation. It's like running a marathon. You're only competing with your past self. Measure your success by how much you improve each week. Did you master a new phrase? Then you're moving forward, and that's what matters.
One way to stay patient is by breaking down your goals into smaller, manageable tasks. Instead of aiming to be fluent in a year, focus on mastering one area at a time. For instance, start with greetings, then move to describing daily routines. Small steps lead to big achievements.
Breaking goals into smaller parts makes them feel less overwhelming. For example, instead of aiming to write a perfect essay, start with forming clear sentences. When each step is achievable, you'll feel more motivated and patient as progress becomes tangible and steady.
To handle setbacks, remind yourself that mistakes are a natural part of learning. Think of them as stepping stones rather than barriers. If you mispronounce a word or forget grammar rules, use it as a lesson. Each mistake teaches you something new and helps you grow.
Mistakes are essential for learning. Jennifer, they highlight areas for improvement. If you feel embarrassed by an error, remember that making mistakes is proof that you're trying. Even native speakers slip up occasionally. Embrace mistakes as opportunities to get better.
Another strategy is to find joy in the learning process. Look for activities you genuinely enjoy, like watching movies or listening to music in English. When you're having fun, you're less likely to feel impatient. Enjoying the process makes learning feel like a reward in itself.
That's so true, Jennifer. When you connect learning with enjoyable activities, it feels less like a chore. Try turning your favorite hobbies into learning opportunities. If you love cooking, follow English recipes. If you enjoy sports, listen to commentary. It's both fun and educational.
Surrounding yourself with a supportive community can also help. Join language exchange groups or find a study buddy who understands your struggles. Encouragement from others keeps you motivated and reminds you that you're not alone in your journey to learn English.
Community support makes a huge difference, Jennifer. Sharing experiences with others creates a sense of belonging. When you see others overcoming challenges, it inspires you to stay patient. Plus, teaching someone else what you've learned reinforces your knowledge and builds confidence.
Let's also highlight the importance of maintaining a routine. Consistency builds habits, and habits create progress. Set aside time each day for language practice, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour. Consistent effort, even in small amounts, yields remarkable results over time.
Consistency is key, Jennifer. Learning is like building a house. You lay one brick at a time. A little progress every day adds up. Even on busy days, practicing a single sentence or reviewing vocabulary can make a difference. A solid routine strengthens your patience and commitment.
Another tip is to track your progress. Keep a journal or use an app to log your daily achievements. Seeing how far you've come boosts your confidence and keeps you motivated. When progress feels slow, looking back at your growth reminds you that your efforts are paying off.
Tracking progress is such a motivating tool, Jennifer. When you write down what you've learned, you create a visual record of your achievements. For instance, list the words you've mastered or the conversations you've had. Over time, this habit builds a strong sense of accomplishment.
Visualization can also keep impatience at bay. Picture yourself achieving your language goals, traveling abroad, making new friends, or acing a job interview. This mental image helps you stay focused and reminds you why patience is essential for reaching your dream.
Visualization is powerful, Jennifer. When you imagine your success, it feels more attainable. Picture yourself confidently ordering coffee in English or discussing your favorite book. These visualizations create positive reinforcement, making the effort feel worthwhile and exciting.
Finally, remember to be kind to yourself. Learning a language is challenging, and it's okay to feel frustrated at times. Give yourself grace and recognize that every step, no matter how small, is progress. Patience isn't about being perfect. It's about persevering through the ups and downs.
That's a perfect note to end on, Jennifer. Self-compassion is essential for staying patient. Acknowledge your hard work and take pride in your dedication. Celebrate the journey, not just the destination. With patience and persistence, you'll achieve incredible things in your learning journey.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope these strategies inspire you to stay patient and persistent on your language learning journey. Remember, every small step counts, and progress takes time. You're doing great just by showing up and learning with us.
Absolutely, Jennifer. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and be kind to yourself along the way. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips and discussions to help you improve your English. Until next time, take care and happy learning.